Attack on Titan, Season 2 Episode 2. Title: I'm Home. In Trost District, a soldier of the garrison arrives to warn Commander Pixis and Captain Hannes of Wall Rose's breach. That night in Stohess District, the Scout Regiment prepares to venture southwestward to assist in dealing with the Titan invasion. Armin joins Eren and Mikasa at their carriage, wondering if Titans would be able to breach the walls with Titans within them. Recalling the strange structure of the walls and Annie Leonhardt's Titan hardening ability, he wonders if the walls were made with a similar hardening power. Indoors, Section Commander Hange studies something through a microscope while Moblet reminds them of their imminent departure. Hange continues to study the object, pausing in a moment of deep contemplation until Captain Levi calls for them to join the rest of the scouts. Hange obliges, grabbing a small crystal from the table. Shortly afterward, Hange, Levi, and Pastor Nick join Eren's carriage outside of the Stohess District inner gate. Armin wonders why a priest from the Order of the Walls is being brought with the scouts, but Hange insists the makeup of their group is strange enough as it is. The Stohess inner gate is opened, and Commander Erwin briefs the scouts on their mission to head to Ermite District before joining the rest of the Scout Regiment in Wall Rose's territory. As they depart, Armin muses on the fact that Titans have been defending humanity from the Titans all along. On the roads, Eren learns of Nick's knowledge of the Wall Titans, and Hange informs him that they plan to bring Nick to Ermite where he can see the full consequences of the Titan invasion. Eren grows angry at Nick's insistence to remain silent, and Levi proposes using threat of violence to get Nick to talk. Hange insists that Nick will not be moved by violence, and wonders if his knowledge is more important to him than humanity's survival. Earlier that day, Sasha leaves her commanding officer to bring news of the invasion to her village. As she rides for her hometown, she recalls life with her father over 3 years ago. Much to his displeasure, she had been eating from their winter rations. While Sasha ate her rations, her father asked her if she ever wondered why their life had been changing so much. She believed that the influx of new people from Wall Maria had been taking their game from the forest, but her father notes that the others had no choice after losing their homes to the Titans. While Sasha blamed the refugees for their loss of livelihood, her father bitterly agreed that clearing forests and planting fields fed more people than hunting as their family had done for generations. He considered leaving their old way of life behind and taking up horse breeding, changing their ways to meet the needs of the many, but Sasha strongly opposed his idea. Sasha's father accepted her stubborn beliefs, but warned her of the dangers of the selfishness she expressed. In Wall Rose, Sasha spots the footprints of a Titan much further into the land than she had expected. After riding some distance, she comes across a new village that she does not recognize. Within one of the homes, a small Titan eats at the leg of a helpless woman as her daughter sits silently in shock. The girl turns towards her mother as Sasha comes in with an axe, swinging desperately at the Titan's nape. Unfortunately, the axe is unable to damage the nape sufficiently enough to kill it and eventually slips from Sasha's hand from the blood spilled from the Titan, landing out of her reach above the door. With no means of killing the Titan, Sasha takes the girl and escapes to safety, apologizing to the dying woman at the Titan's mercy. Sasha takes the girl to her horse and attempts to talk with her, but the horse becomes restless and runs off before either could mount it. Sasha calls desperately for her horse and frantically attempts to comfort the child until the Titan emerges from the house. Taking a bow and handful of arrows, Sasha grabs the girl and runs for the main road. As they run, the girl explains that her village was aware of her mother's bad legs but did not come to save her when the Titan arrived. Escaping over the drawbridge, Sasha thinks back to her days in the 104th Cadet Corps. Some years ago, Sasha was approached by Krista Lenz and her freckled friend Ymir, who confronted Sasha about the abnormally polite way Sasha spoke to her fellow cadets. Ymir rightly guessed that Sasha was ashamed of the dialect used by the people of her village and criticized her aimless way of living. Krista attempted to stop Ymir's diatribe and defended Sasha, saying that she can be who she wants to be. Ymir continued to berate Sasha, telling her to speak as her true self without shame of what others think of her. Krista scolded Ymir, insisting that there was nothing wrong with Sasha's way of living regardless of whether or not she lived as her true self. Ymir still thought of Sasha as annoying, and Krista reminded Ymir that not all people are as insensitive as her. Fleeing from the Titan, Sasha wonders why she is remembering trivial memories at such a time. She turns to the girl as they run, telling her to keep running until she finds help. Letting go of the child and drawing her bow, Sasha orders the child to get running. The girl runs, and Sasha fires an arrow at the Titan. She considers buying them time by blinding the Titan and climbs a short incline for a better shot. Her second shot misses, leaving her with only 2 arrows. Her third shot is a direct hit in the Titan's eye, and Sasha prepares to fire her last shot, reminding herself that failure would mean putting the girl's life at risk. She throws her bow away, taking the arrow and charging at the Titan to stab it directly in its other eye. The Titan attempts to grab her, but Sasha manages to shove herself out of its grip thanks to the blood soaking its chest. She runs down the road in search of the girl, eventually coming across a group of civilians on horseback, spotting the girl and her own father. Sasha joins her father and his group, and he explains that they have been delivering horses to the refugees to assist in the evacuation. He lets Sasha know that he heard of her fight against the Titan and is proud of who she has become. Sasha smiles as she finally feels at home. Elsewhere in Wall Rose, Connie rides ahead of his team as Reiner urges him to be cautious. Coming to his village, Connie frantically calls out for anyone nearby who would hear him, but only finds ruined houses and empty streets. He makes a desperate ride for his house, hoping that his parents and siblings are safe, but upon arriving at his house he finds a Titan laying atop the ruined structure on its back. Reiner arrives at Connie's side, pulling him away from the scene as Gelger comes to investigate. Taking a closer look at the Titan, he notices that its limbs are much too small for any means of mobility. The scouts nearby are left to wonder how this small-limbed Titan ended up atop Connie's house.